first time in a long time, things are right in the world.
You don't know what you're talking about. Hazel was our friend, and you wrote her off like she was nothing.
I was your friend first.
What is your problem?
How many episodes does the show need to be compelling? Some may say 24 episodes allows for the story to flesh out and for the characters to have a bit of development. Some might say hundreds or even thousands to create a grand sense of world building. But what if I told you only needed 10 episodes? 10 episodes might seem short. You might hear that and you think, oh my gosh, how are they going to tell a story so deep and can make you feel in 10 episodes? To that, I have to say a show doesn't need a certain amount of episodes to be quality. What the show really needs is a good foundation, some great storytelling, some great characters. You don't believe me? Well, let me prove it to you. In this video today, we're going to be talking about how Infinity Train Season 3 manages to create one of the most compelling stories I've ever seen in all of animation in only 10 episodes. So, let's talk about it.
You don't know me, but my name's Sy. I'm just the old head. You too funny guy.
Okay, listen, I know a lot of you are going to call me cheating because to get to Season 3, you obviously need to watch Season 1 and Season 2. But hear me out. In this case, you don't need to watch the other two seasons. Infinity Train follows a semi-anthology series. They all happen on the same train, the same universe, but they all encompass their own little story featuring new characters, some familiar, but mostly keeping the story universal and contained in its own lore. And if I were to tell you which seasons are worth watching on their own, this would be my first recommendation, then Season 1, Season 2, and then Season 4. Before we continue, I also want to say that Infinity Train deserves so much more. And the fact that it was removed from the streaming service that it originally was on is really stupid. And the fact that the show got canceled blows my mind. But even so, if you guys can find the means to hop up on my old pirate boat, I'm not saying piracy is good, but in this case, if you guys want to find a way to watch the show and show some support to the creators, go out and do it because, like I said, Infinity Train is one of the greatest shows of all time. Enough lollygagging, let's break down how these 10 episodes managed to develop and tell a story that infused character growth, betrayal, tragedy, mysteries, and creates a better story than shows in the tens to hundreds of episodes. So, hop up on this train, let's get things started. What would you do if you were 10 years old and you woke up in a place that you weren't familiar with? You look around, you see no one, nothing, no explanation of where you are or what's going on. How would you feel? You'd probably be terrified, lost, but then you befriend someone, and then you meet a cat that can talk, a cat that slowly becomes your best friend, the only person you have in the situation. Then something terrible happens. You both end up running from a strange creature you've never seen, a creature out of a comic book, and you two get separated, and seemingly she leaves you to die. And then at the very last moment, you're saved by what happens to be the first human you've seen in ages, for who knows how long, a human girl. She saves you, and she claims that she knows the secrets of this train. She goes on and she becomes your close friend and your teacher. Years pass, many years pass. You age, you grow, you change, you develop, and you grow up with this person. You trust this person completely. You trust them with your life. Until one day, everything you ever knew, everything you ever learned, everything you ever were taught gets flipped on its head. You obviously want to stick to what you know because you're afraid of change. You're afraid that this person that you grew up with, that teach you the ropes, that taught you all this was wrong. But then slowly this person that you grew up with, this person that you befriended, this person that taught you everything you know, they begin to change. They begin to believe these newfound knowledge that they are given. They are becoming a different person and they lose trust in you as a person. They lose trust in your judgment. How much pain would you feel? How much would it hurt? How would you react? What would you do? This very hypothesis is what the plot of Infinity Train Season 3 is all about. We see these two kids who are forced to grow up on the train and develop their own seeing, their own beliefs about this train, believing that they're entitled to everything on the train. This train was made specifically for them. They're allowed to do as they're pleased, when they please, to whoever they're pleased, and treat anyone who they see as what they see fit. They develop a superiority complex, seeing the people on the train as nothing, nulls, absolutely zip. They end up causing chaos and trouble for everyone, even leading a group of other kids they found along the train to destroy and create absolute chaos. This chaos they cause ends up creating a cycle of just destruction and terrible things being done to the people of this train. Grace and Simon are the two characters who end up falling for this story. The two end up going on an outing to other cars and end up getting stuck and running to seemingly an innocent girl named Hazel. They find Hazel on the train with this creature named Tuba. Tuba's backstory is extremely tragic, and the writers managed to make you care so much for this character and create a genuine connection to her and Hazel. Having lost her own kids, Tuba acts as like the motherly figure towards Hazel throughout the entire adventure. So as Grace and Simon try to show Hazel how the train works through the train, Tuba plays the role of keeping everyone else in check and making sure to keep Hazel away from doing all these bad and terrible things. As we push through the episode, we start to see how Grace starts adjusting the way she participates in the train's activities. She starts to do things the train's way and attempts to please Hazel. But throughout all this, Simon starts to feel alienated and disconnected. He's showcasing many different feelings of jealousy and betrayal. And when these characters get trapped in a cabin with the cat who left him to seemingly die, he feels betrayed at the fact that Grace isn't worrying about how he feels about the entire situation. The group then pushes through normally throughout the cars to get back home. They eventually arrive at the color car. The color car is basically set up to get these pairs of people to work together and bond more. And during this, Hazel, innocent one she is, notices that Tuba and Simon aren't getting together, so she opts to team up with Grace and let the other two work out their issues together. Throughout this car, it starts to seem that maybe Simon had a change of heart. Maybe Simon's actually beginning to see Tuba the Knoll as more of a person. But that's not how it ends. And after they exit the car, Tuba is killed by Simon. By the way, this is a cartoon for children, and there was literal murder. Bro pushes her into the train tracks of the car. Bro, what? But after this, of course, Hazel is crushed. Her best friend killed at the hands of someone that she thought was her own friend. She's terrified, and Grace goes to comfort her. During this is real that this entire time, Hazel's not a normal girl. That Hazel's actually a part of the train, that she might be a Knoll. And this terrifies her. She thinks that Simon's planning to kill her, but Grace, being the changed person that she's been shown throughout this story, promises to protect Hazel and not let Simon kill her. But knowing the type of person Simon is, the type of person that she created, she hides his secret from Simon. And so the three of them carry on the journey. And even though I might have went through all of these plot points fast, none of this throughout the show feels rushed. This entire season is insanely well paced and insanely well told. Ah, well-told stories. Isn't it a lovely thing?
But you know what's more lovely? Conquer your enemies in rage, shadow. Okay, I'm lying. I'm not famous enough for a sponsor. But you know what? I can sponsor myself. So if you haven't already, make sure to leave a like down below. It helps a lot, and I appreciate it a lot. And I see you there scrolling down below, looking in those comments, commenting some things without hitting that subscribe button as well. I see you with those dry-ass lips. Don't lick them. Don't lick them. Don't lick them. Just hit that subscribe button. Chop up your lips real quick. Make sure they're all nice and shiny and juicy, and make sure to continue watching this video. Anyway, see you guys later.
But we go forward. We see how this one moment begins to change Simon into something much worse as they truly learn the meaning of the train. They learn that this train is not a plaything for them, but is here to help these people get off the train, get through their issues. With this new knowledge, the group is faced with what to believe. And we see Grace slowly start to realize that all that she knew, that everything that she taught Simon was wrong. But Simon, on the other hand, we see how he's unable to adapt, unable to accept these newfound facts, unable to change, due to this being everything he ever knew. If this fact is true, his entire life, everything he's grown up for, everything he's done on this train has been a lie. The one person that he trusted was wrong. And Grace, terrified that with these new truths, and that the conductor is seemingly looking for an anomaly, which we then learn is Hazel, she runs away and she tries to protect Hazel. As I said earlier, the reason these people are on the train is for them to find help for their problems. She's on the train because she just can't adapt to someone else being right. She believes that she's the one that's always correct, that her way is the right way, and that she is never wrong. But then she slowly starts to realize that's not true. When she's given these tough decisions, she doesn't know what the right choice is. She doesn't know how to solve it. She doesn't know everything. But then, even through all this development, when given the opportunity to do the right thing, to be the right person, to do the best for Hazel, whether it's through selfishness or belief that she's the only one that can protect her, she cracks. She begins to continue to show her true colors of not knowing what's right, and she doesn't make the right decision. But through these small cracks, Simon starts to pick up that something isn't right. And after detecting this, he decides to enter Grace's mind. He goes into her memory and he sees the moment that he never wanted to see. He sees the person that he trusted, the person that he cared about the most, the person who taught him everything, lied to him, hid the truth from him, hid something from him and broke his trust. And after this, he snaps. He ends up showing her most horrible memories, revealing everything about her that we just discussed, about her lack of self-confidence, about how she doesn't know what's truly right, about how she always goes her way even though she knows she's not correct. Simon ends up leaving her trapped in her own mind, stuck there for eternity, until finally Grace is able to accept these facts about herself, accept that her problems are her problems, that she's going to work better to fix these. She accepts this as she manages to snap out of this reality. But even after breaking out of this, her hardest mission's ahead of her, because now she has to save her biggest mistake, the biggest thing she's ever done, the biggest creation, and that is saving Simon. She goes back to the Apex and tries to tell all the kids the truth, that she was wrong this entire time. She admits to her faults, but Simon got there first. Simon, too hurt, too broken, and betrayed, is unable to change his ways of thinking, and the two get into a physical confrontation. But Grace, even after all this, even after all her mistakes and realizing that she is the one that created this monster, she's still trying to save Simon. She's still trying to showcase him that this isn't the way things have to be. She's trying to showcase that she is willing to change and she's willing to help Simon through all of this. But even so, through all this, Simon, through all the pain he's felt, through all the distrust, all the heartbreak, all the agony he's feeling, is unable to accept this, believing that this Grace isn't the Grace that he knew, believing that that Grace that he did know was correct, and he ends up killing this Grace. And in one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever seen in animation ever, we see him have a breakdown. We see him go from this cackle, this evil cackle, this maniacal cackle, into sadness and confusion. He's losing his mind on screen. He's crying, he's laughing, he doesn't know what to feel. He seemingly killed his best friend, but he also doesn't believe this is his best friend. His mind is truly shattered. It's one of those scenes that gets me as a writer so much inspiration. It embodies so much emotions and feeling in such a short little piece of animation, and creates such a wonderful scene that honestly, I don't even know if I'll be able to reach that level of writing and storytelling in my entire life. After this though, luckily Grace manages to survive. She's saved by creatures of the train. Before she's able to talk to Simon and try to help him, Simon's attacked by this disgusting creature that sucks his entire life force out, quite literally, and Simon's dead. And Grace is crushed. She watches what happened. She understands that she was partial in the creation of what Simon become, that she's the reason this happened, and she takes full responsibility for her actions, coming full circle to the entire story. And now, with this new view on the world and the train, she grew so much in these episodes, and she's ready to save these children and get them off the train. This is one of those stories that manages to create such feelings and emotions that it's hard to believe that it's only 10 episodes, with each episode only being 11 minutes each. Over the course of only 100 minutes, manages to create such an amazing story that many other series just can't. Infinity Train Book 3 is a flawless piece of animation, and I hope that everyone here takes the time out of their day to go and watch it. Until this day, I still have no clue why HBO Max managed just to remove this series off their platform, or why it never even got a 5th season. But hey, we'll get into that at a later date. So for now, if you guys enjoyed the video, I'd like to ask you guys to subscribe, share it around, leave a like, leave a comment. If you've seen Infinity Train, if you're planning to watch Infinity Train, what's your take of the series as a whole? So I'll see you guys in the next one.